Welcome everyone to our 10th and final Virtual South Summit for 2021. And some people usually say that you leave the best for last. Well, I think this is probably the case here. This South Summit virtual is on Asia. Asia is an amazing part of the world. Before COVID, we were traveling a lot to Asia here at IE, and I'm sure that this is going to come back. Now, we have an amazing lineup of startups from all over Asia, an amazing lineup of VCs from all over Asia. But before we get started, I want to welcome everybody. IE University, which I'm representing as well, is very happy to be here as a key sponsor of this event. For us, entrepreneurship is one of our top values, represented very well in the rankings, where in 2020 we were number 2 in the world by Bloomberg and number 8 in the world by Poets and Quants. But South Summit itself is also very proud of the fact that, for the second year in a row, we started these virtual South Summits, and this is the end of our 2021 series. But what a better way to end this year with Asia. So before we begin, I want to introduce to you Irina Deneanu. Irina is in charge of Asia for IE University. Irina is originally from Romania, but she has made her home for the last 16 years here in Spain and also in Asia. Welcome, Irina.
Thank you so much, Faris. I hope everyone can hear me fine. Hello, everyone. I'm really delighted to be here. It's an exciting day, and as Paris, you're saying, the best is saved for the last. So it is a true honor and pleasure to be here with so many inspiring talents. I know that over the last 3 months, South Summit hosted very different events with focused on a variety of industries and, of course, other regions. But I'm really happy that today's the event is actually focused on my region, on Asia, where my heart is. And I know that we all agree that when we speak about IE, we speak about one of the best positioned higher education institutions in the world, very much rooted, as Faris was mentioning before, in entrepreneurship and innovation. We have been pushing the boundaries of higher education for the last 50 years now. We're very proud to have to count with a global network of both students from all over the continent, alumni, corporate and academic partners, from very diverse backgrounds, sectors, and also many countries. So when we speak about IE, we also speak about diversity, and this is where Asia plays a huge role. More than 300 students are coming from the continent on a yearly basis. Our footprint also has increased in the region, whereas 6 out of the 30 international offices are actually located in Asia, with a core focus on several areas. We, of course, help companies develop and train their employees. We also attract talent to IE from all the corners of the region. We help individuals and family businesses. Another important focus for us, area of focus, is the applied research, which we do with our amazing faculty. And we can all agree that diversity of thought, of perspectives, and experience is what drives innovation. So, of course, today, when we speak about Asia, we certainly speak about the power of the middle class, which is the biggest demographic in the world. We speak about a very entrepreneurial focus in all sectors, whereas it's technology, fintech, venture capital, circular or social economy. We also speak about over 170 unicorns listed, if you think of China and India leading, then followed by Singapore and Indonesia. And I have to say, it's through the local teams, the local offices, the amazing alumni community of about 6,000 alums nowadays across different countries in Asia, that we're able to facilitate this training and make the lasting impact in industries across all fields of knowledge, building ties with universities, with accelerators, corporations, and other public institutions as well. Despite the COVID, we continued our efforts, and we have organized Venture Days, even if we had to move it all online. we continue to collaborate with our local partners to keep contributing to this Asian entrepreneurship ecosystem. And I've been privileged, I have to say, to collaborate with Paris on different occasions. Despite the incredibly tough situation we all live today, especially with the last year, we can all agree that this has been actually a catalyst for faster new innovation regarding business models, products, and services. And I'm really excited, as I'm sure you all are, to see all the amazing projects that will be presented today. And want to wrap up by wishing all the participants the very best of luck. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Irina. Yep, so you heard it. Asia is truly important for us. Now, you know, I introduce a lot of different people in these virtual South Summits and in all the different interviews I do around the world, but rarely do I get the chance to introduce someone that is doing something truly remarkable, and especially what he's been doing in the recent past. Let me introduce to you Jeffrey See, who is the co-founder of Community Commerce at startup Shoppa in Vietnam. Now let me tell you a little more about Jeffrey See. Jeffrey is the co-founder of the Community Commerce, but he's also been working with 13 million Vietnam Women Union, helping female micro-entrepreneurs. Now, prior to Shoppa, Jeffrey founded the Chosun Exchange, which has trained over 3,000 North Koreans in entrepreneurship. Now, you heard me right, North Koreans. Now, I can't wait to get started on this discussion because I've seen a lot of people do a lot of stuff around the world, crazy stuff, but the idea of training over 3,000 North Koreans, we got to hear all about that. Now, he is also involved with the World Economic Forum as a Global Future Council member, the Consortium on Digital Currency Governance member, and a Digital Asian Task Force member. Join me in welcoming Jeffrey See. Jeffrey. You're on mute, Jeffrey. You're on mute.
Hello. Sorry, that's a very COVID-19 thing.
How are you, Jeffrey?
I'm great. I'm great. Thanks for inviting me. I'm glad to be in Spain in spirit, if not in body.
Great. So, Jeffrey, I know in the conversation we had earlier, you know that one of my obsessions is to talk about people's relationship to uncertainty, how we deal with uncertainty, and how most of us in the entrepreneurial ecosystem see opportunity with uncertainty. But tell us about how you started in your career. I'd love to know what you did when you got started and how you ended up in North Korea. Mute, Jeffrey. Mute.
Hello. Hello,
Yes.
can you hear me?
Yep, we got you
Yes.
now.
So I actually started my career in Bain & Company, a very traditional career in consulting in the US. But prior to joining Bain, I actually visited North Korea in 2007. And the trip left such a deep impression on me because I went there thinking that people in the country wouldn't be interested in business. I was at the time a business major in the US. But then I met like a young woman student. She's in university, and she was our tour guide when I was in North Korea. And I asked her what she wanted to be after she graduated, and she said she wanted to be a business leader to show that females can be great business leaders. And I was quite shocked by that because first I was just like, oh, I'm in North Korea, it's a communist country. Why would anyone be interested in this? And I think that just kind of really, really shocked me. So when I was leaving the country, I just asked if there was anything I could do for her. And she said, if I could bring an economics textbook the next time I came into the country, that would make a difference for them. So I left thinking, I want to try doing something. It was not that easy, given that it was North Korea, and it kind of took 2 years for me to find a way to create some sort of exchange. So that was kind of my first introduction to the country. And when I was at Bain, I think that thought just stayed a lot with me. And there was an opportunity that came up when North Korea did this currency revaluation. There was quite a crazy period, and it gave me the opportunity to go in there to start the exchange that I always wanted to do for quite a while.
Okay, so you then started this program. For how many years did you do this program?
Yeah, so it's been running for a decade now. I mean, it's still running. I'm not as active as I was before. I still chair it. And it's been a while, right? Because you talk about uncertainty, and from the very first day dealing with North Korea, we didn't know what to expect. We didn't know what we could do in the country. There were incidents there that were sometimes kind of like life-threatening, scary. To today, right? I mean, we went through like fire and fury. Donald Trump threatening war, North Korea launching nukes. So I think definitely it's been a while, right, for the last 10 years.
Okay, and Jeffrey, so how did you make the transition from North Korea then to Vietnam?
Yeah, so we've been training female micro entrepreneurs in North Korea, and the context for it was that when North Korea, when the economy kind of collapsed in the 1990s, when the Soviet Union kind of went down, a lot of the males had to stay in the government positions. So the females were the ones who went out into the market to start trading and doing business. And so we went in the country that was the audience that we were really working with, helping them understand what these new rules of entrepreneurship was all about. So I was doing that for many years, and up to 2016, we were growing our programs. And in 2016, North Korea started kind of a very long period of confrontation with the US and South Korea. They were testing the nukes. And then, the next year when Donald Trump came in, he was threatening fire and fury on the Korean Peninsula. So we were going through a very, very rough patch of our programs. And I decided in order to make the program sustainable, we had to restructure it. So I relocated to Vietnam with the aim of, kind of lowering our costs operating out of Vietnam. And while I was in Vietnam, I started a co-working space business there. And I was just really amazed at the dynamism of North Korea. And in a way, it's quite familiar to me because Vietnam to me is always like North Korea, but 20 years down the road, right? I mean, they have embarked on a kind of economic reforms and innovation. And it's a very different place now, but it's always somewhere where we thought that they provided at least some examples of how North Korea could potentially evolve its economy. And kind of that's kind of the market that I grew and fell in love with. And I think we saw that there's opportunity to bring the kind of training and exposure we had to women entrepreneurs to Vietnam, given that there was a lot of females in the countryside who don't have access to great income earning opportunities. A lot of them aspire to run a mom and pop shop, but it's expensive. It takes capital to build such businesses. And we saw an opportunity there to kind of pilot some community commerce model, social commerce model to help these people kind of build their own small scale retail business.
And Jeffrey, I know you're focusing on Vietnam, but do you see possibilities in other Southeast Asian countries as well for this sort of activity?
Yeah, so I think I'm not sure how familiar everyone here is with the social commerce models, right? I think it started out in India and Vietnam with names like Meesho, Pinduoduo, Shihuituan. They've proven very, very successful. In Southeast Asia, I think we've seen startups that have raised incredible amount of capital to pursue this model. They're in the early stage. Most of them are like Series A or Series B. But in Indonesia, there's like 10, 15 of them that have come up that have raised significant amount of money and trying to adapt this model to Southeast Asia. In Vietnam, I think we are fairly early. There's a few other players, but all of them are still at very, very early stage. So I think there's great opportunity for this model in the region, just because it is very, I think retail in a lot of these markets is still very much underdeveloped. Modern retail is a very small part of commerce. In Vietnam, it's 5% of retail is modern retail. Thailand is 40%. Indonesia, maybe it's like 20, 30%. So I think there's a huge opportunity to test out new models using messaging, using social media to sell. And I think Southeast Asia is a place to do it because social media is such a big part of people's lives here.
So Jeffrey, I can imagine the transition from joining Bain in South Korea, right, is when you started?
In the US, actually.
Oh,
I started in the US.
Okay, but it's still a very competitive sort of situation to get into a place like Bain. And then now, you're definitely in a completely other world in terms of your profession. What advice do you give to students and young people today? Because as we saw during COVID and now post-COVID, a lot of people are looking to have much more impact in their lives. And you see a lot of people, especially I teach in the MBA program, we're seeing a lot of people that have been working in traditional companies for several years, and now they want to do something different. They want to change their professional course. What advice do you give these people that are looking to make an impact?
Yeah, I think it's a question I ask myself a lot, and I think it's always from the outside. Everything looks like, oh, it's great. You go on this journey, and you made a decision, and it's all good. I feel like in reality, it's very different, right? I feel there are many periods where when the situation in Peninsula is going crazy, or in a startup you're running into major roadblocks. You always kind of question the decisions you make in life, and it's not always easy. I would say that the turning points for me was that I was doing the North Korea work first as a volunteer, setting it up. Then I had went to Bain, and while I was at Bain, I think two things happened. One was that I went from doing a job that I thought about and cared a lot about, the mission. This is the first thing on my mind when I wake up in the morning. When I'm in the shower, I'm thinking about the work. When I'm going to sleep, I'm thinking about it. To something where I feel like, I've done my work for the day. It's like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. I just want to turn off my laptop and not think about it. Or it's on the weekend, I don't want to think about it. So it's a huge difference when you do something you truly love and care about, to going to doing something where it's a job. And I think that energy you harness when you're doing something that truly drives you, that resonates with you, is just incredible. I think the other thing that happened to me when I was at Bain was that, I was working there and I was finishing up my first year, and I traveled back to North Korea to visit some of our program partners. And I met one of this young partner of ours. She had just graduated from university, and she had never seen a smoke detector in a restaurant before. So we went to this very fancy new restaurant. She looks at the smoke detector and she asked a security guy in the room in Korean. She was like, "Oh, is that a surveillance device?" And I was just shocked. I was like, wow, people here would grow up thinking these things, and living this kind of environment. And I have a unique opportunity to do something here. And if I do not do it, no one else will be doing this thing. But with work at Bain, I feel like if I step down, there's going to be 1,000 other smarter, more incredible people than me who will be willing to do that job. So I think that kind of helped me, kind of made me realize, like, I want to do something where I'm the one who, if I don't do it, no one else would do it. And I think that's the value I bring.
That's truly an amazing story, Jeffrey. Thank you so much for sharing. All right, well, I think we're out of time. So I want to thank you very much for joining us today. And you heard it. If you think that you can make a difference because nobody else can, go for it, right?
Yes, go for it.
All right. Thank you, Jeffrey. Keep in touch.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, let's move along. So now we come to the bit where we're going to have some startup pitches. So the way this is going to work is that every startup is going to be evaluated on the basis of innovation, scalability, team viability, and how investable it is as a startup. The winner, as you know, or most of you know that have seen us before, of today's competition is going to have a fast track to the 100 finalists of the main event in October of the South Summit, which this year is going to be mainly face-to-face again. So let's begin. Before we begin, I'm going to introduce some of the jury members that we have today. We have Dewal Shah from Accelerate Asia. We have Tobias Bauer from Blockchain Founders Fund. We have Alfonso Ballesteros from Crossbow Consulting. We have Fruzonfar Zeni from Fresco Capital. We have Michael Gethin from Gethin Capital. We have Fernando de la Cal from Invest Hong Kong. And then we have two members of our good friends at Rainmaking, Colin Allison and Josh Flannery. We also have my friend Oscar Ramos from SOSV China Accelerator. We have Gunse Onur from Startup Wise Guys. And we have Alfreda Lee from Latin Leap. All right, so let's get going. Welcome, everybody. Don't forget to ask questions. This is your opportunity, jury members, because afterwards we're going to have to vote. Our first startup is called Big Thinks. Big Thinks is a rethinking fashion retail platform thanks to its AI technology that carries out a 3D body scan to calculate precise full body measurements for instant apparel size and fit matching. Wow. And we all know that online e-commerce has had a big challenge with people returning apparel. So these guys seem like they're going to solve that problem finally. So representing Big Thinks is Shivang Desai, and Big Thinks is from the country of India. So welcome me in joining Big Thinks.
Hi, I'm Shivang Desai, and I'm representing Big Things, which is an artificial intelligence company focusing on the fashion and retail industry. Our products at a glance include mobile body scanning and digital avatars, which are the core products, and these being used in showcases such as digital fashion shows and virtual showrooms, which become our showcase products. Now, the big problem that we're solving in the fashion and retail industry is the problem around returns, especially with online shopping. Now, returns of online apparel cost US retailers alone $428 billion in lost sales last year. Around the world, this is over $1 trillion a year. And up to 84% of these end up in landfills or incinerators. So it's terrible for the environment as well. Our products help to solve this starting with 3D body scanning, which uses only 2 pictures with a smartphone and derives 44 precise measurements of your body, which can be used for made-to-measure clothing, but on a much larger scale in e-commerce, used to match you to exactly your size and fit in any brand. So you can choose the best fitting and size products for your own body type, which you don't end up returning. Our next product goes a few steps further. It uses a selfie of your face in addition to this body scan to create a virtual avatar, which you can use to try on digital clothing, which we also produce, and see how it looks, fits, drapes, and moves before you buy it. This leads to an approximate 70% reduction in returns. Surprisingly, a 20% increase in order values, because people who are sure about what they are buying tend to buy more or more expensive products, and 250% greater conversion rate, because people are, again, much more comfortable buying when they've interacted with the product in 3D before buying. All this generates human body data that feeds into the supply chain and helps us address the needs of our target segments, including omni-channel fashion, workwear and uniforms such as factory, military, aviation, police, etc., export houses and manufacturers which produce the garments and clothing that you're wearing, and health and fitness organizations. We're targeting a market size of nearly $6 billion addressable market. And the way that we do this is through SDKs, which integrate into existing apps and websites usually in less than 1 day. And it's a fixed software as a service recurring billing that takes place. The team includes me and Chandalika. We are the 2 founders. I've been a serial entrepreneur, and Chandalika has gone down the corporate route before starting Big Things. And we have advisors in fashion, retail, artificial intelligence, and these are some of the world's leading minds. We've also won the world's biggest awards in the space and been featured in the world's leading publications. Thank you, and we're happy to take questions.
All right. Thank you, Shivang. Questions from the jury? Okay, Fernando.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yep, perfectly.
So my question has to do with data protection. I understand in your business model you are gathering pictures from the customer. So how do you manage data, and especially thinking about an expansion into Europe with the GDPR regulation? How do you plan to manage that data?
Absolutely. So many of our customers today are actually in Europe, and we are GDPR compliant. What we do is that any photo that is received on our servers is processed and deleted instantly. That information is never stored. That's the first part. The second part is when it comes to our servers, that information is stored under a random generated hash key. Therefore, there is no particular personally identifiable data that is linked to it. And when we pass the results back along, it goes back to the brands that we work with, and they are responsible for storing the data. Again, all of this happens in an encrypted format, so we have taken care of privacy on all accounts.
Thank you, Shivang, very clear.
All right, we got a question from Joshua. Josh?
Thank you. Yeah, congratulations on a great presentation. I've got a question specific to your target markets. I'm particularly biased towards Asia and maybe North Asia and Japan. I'm wondering how you have found your tech stacks up against competitors already operating in Asia. I know, for example, Rakuten here in Japan has a company claiming similar capabilities in its portfolio, and I just wondered what's your unique value proposition, or you know, how do you see yourself against competitors in Asia?
Well, thank you for that question. We do have competitors in Asia. Rakuten has acquired a company in the space, as have a few other retail giants. Now, we pride ourselves in being faster, cheaper, and more accurate in what we are doing. So we are generating avatars in less than 5 seconds, body scans in less than a second, measurements that are absolutely tailor-ready. And we've stacked this up and benchmarked ourselves against as many competitors as we can possibly do so, unless it's a closed product. In the ones that we have benchmarked ourselves against and have other organizations also benchmarked us against, we have emerged out top. And again, from a price standpoint, it's what we offer is unbeatable by just about any other competitor in the world today.
Thanks very much.
All right, thank you. Dewal, did you have a question? Dewal Shah?
Yeah, my question was mainly around your customer acquisition and your current positioning, right? You're mainly focused on clients outside of Asia, if I'm not mistaken. Your client list is only about 25 strong, and your expected income has grown significantly just from a small number of clients. So how do you intend to continue this growth, and what are the strategies that you're employing towards scaling up the business?
Absolutely. As the first step for us as a business in a growth stage and a relatively early one, we are focused on the big clients. So we are talking Fortune 500 companies, we're talking billion-dollar corporations, and this happens mainly through direct sales and contacts within these brands. But over time, we expect that this will only make up to 25 to 30% of our revenues. And while the remainder, about 70%, is going to be small and medium businesses, even mom and pop stores. And towards this end, we've launched a self-checkout process on our website, wherein a retailer can go, put in their credit card information, download the SDK, and self-install it into their websites and apps. And this is a subscription model that automatically keeps scaling with just a marketing budget to support it.
All right, thank you. Moving along. Our next startup is called Interxy. Interxy helps residential and commercial users to optimize their energy efficiency by giving them full control of their energy consumption with their modular smart energy storage platform. Representing Interxy from the country of Taiwan is Leonard Cheng.
Hello, everyone. I'm a co-founder Leo, Interxy, and we will provide the MTOL Smart IoT service. We wish this product can easily optimize the green energy. What problem we're trying to solve? We see that some urban area, they have a limited space. So sometimes it's a key factor for customer to install the energy storage systems. And the utilities, you spend lots of cost to install that one. And if you don't install that one, there's no easy way to optimize electricity usage in your daily life. And those products is lack of reason, is very hard for customer to control it. So we want to provide some device with AI platform for the users can easily optimize energy to connect clean energy like solar and winds. And this product can predict and protect your appliance and even your circuit in your house. And also these products can reduce the carbon footprint and the electricity bill and fit the time of use tariff. So how it looks like, we easy just shipping this product to your house and you just stick up and plug in anywhere outlet in your house. We provide the backup power and also load share. So it's possible to share some power from our device from the green power. So you can easily to save electricity bill to use our product. And we connect the data from the solar and your appliance power usage and send all the data to our Ample Cloud. And we will figure out what is the best time to charge it and what is the best time to discharge it to fit any tariff in your applications. So it's possible we can trace the lowest price in the wholesale rates. And we also provide the app for users can decide when to charge, when to discharge. So this is how I compare to our competitors. If you want to install this product, you have to install lots of things. So it costs lots of in construction. And our product is easy. You just plug and play in your house and you can have it. So this is our business model. We provide hardware and software, and we also provide API for our customers to remote control our device. And this is our partner in mostly is utilities and retailers, especially in Japan, and we will provide our product end of this year in the US market. And this is our team. Our team have 10 more experience on the energy storage devices. So we believe we can provide the best product for this market. And this is our timelines. We will start mass production deliver our products in next year Q1. And we're seeking the 10 million funds for deliver 10K units. Thank you.
All right. Questions from the audience, please. Gunsei?
Hello, thank you for the presentation. Could you please explain your target markets and how are you planning to expand into different regions?
Mute. Leonid, mute. Can you hear me? You have the mute on. The mute. Press the triangle in the microphone button. Is there any way you can type the response, maybe, in the chat? Leonid, can you hear me? All right, we're gonna try to come back in a little while when we fix the technical issues that we're having there. So we'll come back to Colin and Alfonso in a few minutes, hopefully. All right, we're going to come back to you. All right, we're going to move along now for our next startup. This startup is called Ipification, and it's from Hong Kong in China. It's building the backbone for mobile authentication solutions that balance user security and convenience that are fraught with security and privacy breaches. Join me in welcoming the pitcher, Stefan Kostic.
Hello, everybody. I'm Stefan. I'm the CEO of Ipification, company that revolutionized the way of how we authenticate our mobile devices. We are all familiar with SMS runtime codes problems. They do not arrive always, they interrupt the user experience, but most importantly, they are insecure and prone to SIM swap attacks and many other security loopholes because SMS was never intended to be used for this purpose. Good news is that we have already started commercializing the alternative solution called IPification and achieved great results last year, but way bigger expansion is expected in the years to come. So what's the magic trick of multiplying our revenues 50 times in such a short period of time? First of all, a very solid telecom network footprint that we've established in the last 3 years of hard work. 33 telecom operators live in the 18 markets covering over 500 million of subscribers around the globe. And that's just the beginning. Secondly, we have established cooperation with already entrenched market players, no matter they are platform providers such as Microsoft, A2P SMS aggregators, payment providers, etc., who are using our technology to satisfy their customers' mobile authentication needs. Third and foremost, our telecom-based backbone solution is unique. It represents a super strong possession factor verification, and it's the only market solution that is able to verify 3 most important network elements: phone number, SIM card, and device in a single click based on the user's IP address. All the other solutions that depends on header enrichment or SMS are already deprecated, and as such, they have a shelf life. Check out the real app example, how the user experience looks like. So the user is inputting the phone number and just clicking verify. There's no need for SMS, no need for voice call, phone number, but also SIM card and the device has been verified seamlessly based on the user's IP address. IPification will become the norm, which is important not only for us as a company, but for the entire digital ecosystem. Our efforts have been already recognized by some of the leading awards in the space, including Alibaba's Jumpstarter, who recognized us as the best fintech of the year, Raiffeisen Bank competition, European Mobile Authentication Awards, and so on and so forth. We have a highly experienced international team that all share the same vision that next generation mobile authentication must be frictionless, it must be secure, and it must protect the end user's privacy. So please join us to make this vision a reality. Thanks a lot for your attention and looking forward to your questions.
All right, thank you. Questions from the audience? Colin.
Hi, thanks for that presentation, really good. I have a question around competition and protection of your technology. Do you have patents or anything that's protecting you from either incumbents or others that are doing similar tech?
Yeah, thanks for the question. Yeah, we do have the 3 patents around technology already granted in the US and in Hong Kong, and we have patent pending in China and in UK as well. In terms of competition, you know, in the beginning I was saying we don't have a competition, and then the people were saying we are in the wrong business. I mean, there are a couple of US-based companies who are solving the same issue as we do, but they are leveraging on an older, as I said, header enrichment technology, which is there for 15, 20 years. Our approach is different. You know, we approach telecom operators and we provide them technology to enhance their capabilities, while these companies are just buying whatever telecoms has to offer, and unfortunately 99% of them are not capable of offering this advanced technology. So consequently, this competition is actually becoming our partners, and they are buying our connectivity on telecom side and reselling our technology to their customers. So yeah, we are turning competitors into partners as well.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Furuzonfar Zeni?
Yeah, thank you. And thank you for the presentation. I wanted to just clarify, do you need to be connected to the internet to do your verification?
Yeah, you need to be you need to have your mobile data active with your telecom network provider. So you can be on Wi-Fi as long as your mobile data is not turned off in settings, which, I mean, rarely someone turn off the data. When you go home, you automatically switch to Wi-Fi, but it's important to have the mobile data package active with your telecom network provider in the country.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Thank you. And then just to second question with in regards to traction. I'm guessing most of your current customers are in the finance industry. Is that correct? And what other industries do you feel like you will expand into in the near term?
Actually, our customers are in different segments. Of course, fintech and banking, they're leading into this space due to security reasons, but we have a lot of OTT chat applications, we have e-commerce, there's a lot of ride-hailing and food delivery companies who are leveraging on the phone number as being one of the centric piece of the identity. So basically anyone interacting with their users on mobile these days are on our, let's say, customer target list. But definitely fintech and banking are leading due to a lot of security breaches happening these days.
Good, thank you.
All right, thank you. Last question. I've got two more here. Dawal Shah, you're next.
Hi, great presentation. I just want to ask you, right? So beyond just the initial authentication when I sign up for a service, where now I don't need to enter an SMS, does it mean that every time I use the software that's using your technology, when I log in, I don't need to receive an SMS anymore for two-factor authentication? So is this completely getting rid of that?
Correct. That's the power, because it doesn't requires any interaction of the user. The technology itself is intended to be used much more frequently in the background, in the zero trust environment. So every time you do any sensitive action inside the app, no matter it's a fintech or anything else, ordering food, ordering ride, etc., they want to verify it's still the same device and same SIM card behind the request, and this is what we are enabling to the app owners. So without any user friction, because it's IP based and it can be completely happening in the background. So yes, I mean the first use case is during the user onboarding, but the much bigger volumes are actually on the 2FA, MFA, in a completely seamless and kind of silent way in the background.
So what are the main risks that you see towards your growth in future in terms of scaling up 50x in the next couple of years?
It's just the speed of telecom onboarding. That's the biggest challenge and kind of the most capital intensive thing, because they are still in a dinosaur mode and not moving as fast and such, etc. But it's it's getting there. Getting 30 plus operators in less than 3 years. For someone in the telco space, they would consider it a light speed, but there's roughly 1,000 operators out there, and we consider us still at the beginning of our road. So we call it Road to 1,000. So I hope more and more telecoms will join the space soon.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we have time for one quick question. Alfonso Ballesteros. You're on mute, Alfonso. Mute. You're on mute.
Oh.
Okay.
Now? Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes. Excellent. Thanks for having me. Yes, I building on an earlier question, what would be your relationship with, let's say, authentication giants like Apple or Google? Would you be turning them into partners? Do you see them as a potential threat because they're both on the software side but also on the handset? How do you see that relationship moving forward?
Yeah, it's a very, very good question. I mean, we definitely see them as a partner, and without disclosing, one of them is in touch with us, and they are actually requiring the connectivity in more than 90 countries, which will probably take us some time to build. But what we have is actually what Google and Apple are not capable of doing. So the only one who is able to verify the phone number and related information is the carrier, the telecom network. And we've kind of taken the hard job of doing it on behalf of someone else. And once we build this backbone, we are more than happy to open it for all the players, including the device guys, platform providers, Microsoft, Apple's, and etc. of the world.
Excellent. Thank you. Congratulations on great traction, by the way.
Thank you, Alfonso. Thanks a lot.
Okay, moving right along. I mean, it's pretty exciting, amazing quality today. So our fourth startup is called Travel. It's represented by Lo Jian Yang from the country of Singapore. Travel is an automated chat-based guest engagement SAS platform to consolidate the travel industry. Join me in welcoming Travel.
Hi, I'm Ian from Travel, here to share more about our company. The problem that we face in the travel industry is a very fragmented one, where hotels are serving their guests through multiple engagement platforms like their mobile application, websites, and emails, which questions are coming in on inquiries, reservations, and check-in are very repetitive, which leads to high manpower costs and low guest satisfaction. Ultimately, the concierge itself is also not hyper-local information, and the lack of last-mile services is found. This is not limited to hotels, but we see that in attractions and travel agencies as well. The solution that Travel proposes is to help to build a seamless chat-based guest engagement to automate inquiries, reservations, and check-in through APIs and bots to power the travel ecosystem where they're able to cross-sell their services for the different clients on board our platform. Our vision is to consolidate the travel industry, enabling the businesses to serve travelers seamlessly through chat, automating inquiries, reservations, check-in, and concierge to help transform the physical service into the digital space. We have since deployed our solution into a listed company hotel chain here in Singapore to entirely remove their front desk since July 2019. And guests are able to take from multiple communication channels of the hotel, be it their Facebook, website, emails, or even WhatsApp, to take them from pre-trip with inquiries, reservations, in-trip check-in, concierge, checkout, and post-trip loyalty entirely through our platform products with integrations of our partners. The revenue model is simple. We are a B2B enterprise sales customized solution for the bigger accommodations, and the small accommodations are using our SaaS solution to plug and play directly into their system. And our complementary B2B2C monetize the users that are coming in through these platforms for last mile services, and we profit share directly with the hotels. Obviously, the reviews have been great. The industry is obviously littered with other bot developers and customer service support platforms, even self-check-in solutions and OTAs. But ultimately, we are integrated with these partners, and we seamlessly provide a plug-and-play solution for travel and hospitality businesses, regardless of which other competing solutions that they use. The travel ecosystem is built with customers from across the region. More importantly, the partners and integrations with leading software developers and solutions in the travel and hospitality space. And especially now, where the industry is ripe for transformation, where travel and hospitality businesses that have been remained unchanged for centuries are now forced to digitally transform for the post-COVID tourism. Travel has a product market fit product that readily implemented into businesses that we can help with the revolution now. We look forward to working with you. You can reach me at ian@travel.co. And thank you so much for listening today.
All right, Ian, thank you. Questions from the jury? Gunse.
Let me try again. Okay, thank you for the presentation. As I understand, you have many direct, indirect competitors. What is your customer acquisition strategy, and how did you get your first customer?
Yeah, thanks for the question. I hope everybody hears me fine. I'm your first answer for the day. So we do work very closely with our partners. Like I mentioned, we do have self-check-in solutions like with Asa Abloy, Igloo Home, and other players in the self-check-in space. We are actually integrated with them. So they actually act as a referral channel for us, which is actually one of our highest sales channels. Partners that are kind of self-check-in solutions push their partners that the clients that they're working with, integrated with our solution on the guest engagement side and the other aspects of the concierge. So I think what we kind of do is also help these businesses to set themselves apart from their competitors. So I think in the bigger form of picture, we were like a systems integrator. We started way earlier in 2017, 2018, where we were highly profitable and our revenues were great. And we started moving into the SaaS space because we wanted to help the smaller businesses going forward with this plug-and-play solution. So in terms of kind of differentiating ourselves from our competitors, we don't really see them as competitors. We see them as like complementary and potentially sales leads and pipeline for us as well.
Okay, and one more time, how did you get your first customer?
Right. So I think we were slightly different in the way that we started. We started in 2016 and 2017. We were focused on B2C. We were trying to solve like a traveler's issue, a last mile services issue. And I think when we were which software were you using? You know, I want to use your software to serve my guests. And that kind of made us pivot more to a B2B platform in 2018, which kind of what we are today. We're not changing our vision in serving travelers. I think how we serve travelers, instead of doing that directly, but instead through our clients, is the way forward for us.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Joshua?
Thank you. Great presentation. Yeah, I was curious on the same topic of go-to-market, but in regards to some of the target countries that you listed there. So you're based in Singapore, but then you also have Japan and Korea as high priorities. I was interested in hearing about your experience going into the markets versus, you know, the business processes, the user experience expectations, and localization issues, things like that in those North Asian countries, which are a bit different.
Definitely. Josh, I see that you're in Japan currently, right? Obviously, the business culture is entirely different. We do have Japanese investors in our shareholding, so that kind of helps a little bit to the credibility. Sales cycle is generally longer, but I think why we started targeting developed Asian markets, non-English speaking markets, was because we felt that our technology could best serve and help international English speaking travelers. So I think in developed markets like Japan, in Korea, in Taiwan, in Hong Kong, in Singapore, manpower cost is significantly higher. Pre-COVID, that was our sales kind of, I mean, we are helping you to cut costs, you know, and kind of increase your profitability. And I think post-COVID, it kind of shifted a bit in the sales pitch because contactless and touchless has become the key now. But what it is really kind of helping them serve their English-speaking travelers better. And that's really effective for the Japanese and Korean space. So in terms of localization, the only localization we actually need to do was integrating with local partners or local software providers within the region. The system and the software is similar, and we do actually have it in multiple languages. Alternatively, we do layer that with a layer of Google Translate for the businesses. So I think if you use Grab in Southeast Asia, you see the similar kind of concept there.
Great, thanks very much.
All right, thank you. Moving right along. Unfortunately, we are coming to our last startup for today. I have to admit the quality has been just amazing. This startup is called Xella Robotics, and it is from Japan. We've been hearing a lot about Japan so far. These guys are from Japan. The pitcher is Alexander Schmitz. So Xella Robotics provides a solution through its groundbreaking tactile sensor technology that will generate data to both new and existing robotic solutions in different industries. Join me in welcoming Xella Robotics.
Hi everyone, my name is Alexander Schmitz and I'm the CTO of Xella Robotics. Xella Robotics provides the human sense of touch to robots. In many countries, including Japan, there is a labor shortage, and associated with that is a high cost of human labor. So companies would like to fully automate their factories and warehouses, and eventually we want to have collaborative robots in our houses. But the reality is that robots are still very clumsy. There is still a lot of things that robots cannot do. And in order to make robots more capable, a lot of companies focus on vision and AI. And vision and AI is very important to locate an object, but to hold an item, to grasp it, to manipulate it, that's not a visual problem, that's a tactile problem. And there are very few companies that provide a sense of touch to robots. So we make these tactile skin sensors to provide a sense of touch to robots, and they come in different sizes and shapes. And each sensor module has a lot of chips, and each chip individually measures 3-axis force. So you get a lot of 3-axis force measurements, and they're all digital. Other sensors, they're too big for the integration in thin robot skin. They're not durable. They're difficult to integrate because you need a lot of wires and additional electronics. They don't provide 3D sensing, and they're too expensive. So overall, Zero Robotics is the only feasible solution in the market. We integrated the sensors into various hands and grippers. For example, we integrated the sensors in the Saka Robotics gripper, and here it's grasping a fragile business card. We also integrated a sensor into the Allegro hand. And here we have 368 3-axis measurements, and we need only 4 wires to collect all these measurements. We also developed tactile sensing AI. So for example, here we developed software to detect slip. And when the object starts slipping, the gripper grasps the item a little bit harder to avoid it from slipping out of the hand. We also developed software to predict if a grasp is stable, even before lifting the item. So you can see if the grasp is unstable, and in that case, use a new grasp, and then finally you can transport the item to the target location. There are many possible applications of our sensor, and a lot of our customers use our sensors for tactile AI research, but also a lot of assembly line optimization. So about half of our sales are for tactile AI research, but an increasing amount is for assembly line optimization. We started the company in August 2018 and had about $100,000 sales in the first year, $180,000 in the second year, and we will reach about $500,000 this year. We also got a small investment of $100,000. We are currently raising $1 million to get ready for mass production because we have customers that want to buy the sensor in larger quantities, and we also develop our software further. Our team has a lot of experience in tactile sensing hardware and software, and we also have people working on the business and administration side. Thank you for your attention.
All right, thank you, Alexander. Questions from the audience, please. Alfonso.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yep, perfectly.
Yes, thanks. Yes, I would like to know, congratulations, very interesting technology, by the way. Is your technology compatible with all the major brands, robotic brands? The reason I'm asking is because the different, for example, when we're talking about industrial robots and we're talking about KUKA, Fanuc, ABB, and then if we talk about cobots and we talk about universal robots, they tend to have a completely different operating system. Is your data, the data that you produce, easy to integrate with those operating systems? Are you working with them in some kind of software development? What would be your relationship with the major robotics players?
Okay, so yeah, our software is easily usable for in a lot of different operating systems. I mean, for example, so we support ROS, Robot Operating System, which is used a lot for various robots. And we also work together with some big players to integrate our software into their software if that is further necessary. And yeah, basically that's it.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, Gunse, floor is yours.
Okay, thank you for the presentation. In your presentation, you mentioned that you are raising $1 million for the mass production, right?
Yes.
Do you think that $1 million enough for mass production? Could you please explain the details of the production part?
So yeah, actually, we have a partner in Taiwan, and we are setting up the mass production with them now. And it doesn't cost that much money to set up the production. So we are producing now 1,000 sensors with them, and then to scale up the production is not that expensive actually.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. We're running out of time, so we're going to try to connect again with Interxi in Taiwan. Leonid, can you connect? Are you there? Leonid? The mute button? Leonid? Okay, it seems that we can't connect with Leonid. It's a pity. Exciting startup, but seems to have some connection problems. Leonid, you're not there, right? Okay. All right, moving right along. Our next segment is a conversation with Woob, Sandbox, and Tippy Taps. Welcome to Karina Belin, the CEO and co-founder of Woob, or WHUB. She's going to be the moderator. And we have Sebastian Borghet, the COO and co-founder of Sandbox, which is going to be a panelist. And we have Yogev Shelley, the CEO of Tiny Taps. Karina, are you there?
Yes, hello. Hello from Hong Kong. Great to see a lot of familiar faces here online, and it's a great pleasure to join you all.
Great, Karina. Well, I'm going to give the floor to you so you can moderate this exciting discussion with Sebastian and Yogev.
Thank you very much. And just to clarify, so it's W Hub, and the W stands for Starting with Why. We're the largest startup platform and ecosystem accelerator headquartered here out of Hong Kong, very proudly, with over 500 partners around the world, including yourself, and have a huge passion in helping startups grow and scale. And we have two fantastic founders here with me. I'm sister platform of W Hub, and I'm also co-founder of Angel Hub, is Hong Kong's very first and still only SFC regulated equity crowdfunding platform. And we do also invest into the deals that we put on our platform. And when I was asked that I should make a choice on who are two companies I would love to highlight because they have a fantastic, not only a fantastic business, but also a beautiful story on expanding here into Asia, I obviously thought straight away of Sebastian and Yogev. So I'll hand it over to you, Sebastian. Why don't you give us a quick introduction about the Sandbox?
Hi everyone, it's a pleasure to be here with you today with so many great founders. Hi Karina. The Sandbox, it's actually a gaming virtual world on the Ethereum blockchain where players and creators can make 3D assets and game experiences and monetize them through the use of blockchain technologies and NFTs. We are building this decentralized virtual world with the intention that anyone can finally truly own their creation, start to trade them, sell them the way they want in a permissionless manner, and earn a revenue through it. So basically, with our platform for creators and players, we're developing a whole ecosystem of opportunities, new jobs, a new game experience where players and creators are finally stakeholders of our platform.
Thank you, Sebastian. I'll get back to you and we go a little bit deeper on your business. But Yogev, why don't you also give us a very quick introduction about Tiny Taps?
I'd love to. Hi, Karina. Hi, everyone. Yogev Shelley from Tel Aviv, Israel here. Honored to be here with you today. A little bit about my company. We're based here in Tel Aviv. What we offer for kids worldwide is the opportunity to educate themselves independently by playing educational games that are created by local teachers as well as global teachers. The way it happens is that teachers, educators, anyone with kids content can get our app or go on our site and create their own learning apps, learning games in their own languages about whatever matters to their audience, their students, share it, and other kids can get access to that via a subscription. Very shortly put, it's like YouTube for educational games. Anyone can create, share, and earn revenue when their games are played.
Thank you very much, Yogev. And why don't you tell us a little bit about the beginnings of Tiny Taps? I think it's a fascinating story. What brought you to creating Tiny Taps?
Yeah, I'd love to. So today we're focusing on kids and children, but originally the concept for Tiny Tap was basically to allow people to create personalized digital activities. And my personal need was my dad. Back when I started the company, my dad had dementia. And the idea was, how can you take family photos, personal moments, and create content that really resonate with that specific person? And it worked really well, as much as it can, but it made everything a little bit better. And we immediately saw the potential in getting it into educators to create content for kids, because they too need personalized content, and we offer that.
Brilliant, yeah. And I would really like to go a little bit deeper with both of you in terms of your business model. I mean, obviously, your platforms are amazing. Technology is breakthrough, user experience is fantastic. But one of the things that we really connected with you guys and that we love is that you're really getting into the market and start shifting market dynamics, right? And that you're bringing power back to people who are actually creating the content. So if you tell us a little bit, Yogev, again, how does the platform exactly work?
So today, to create content, I can take it a little bit back. When we started, it was a lot of the users were in schools. So educators would be creating content for their own students, whatever they need. It wasn't about the money. So a lot of the time people talk about marketplace. How do you start the marketplace effect, with the chicken and the egg? So the way it happens for us is that we gave value to people without the value outside of money. So people would create the content, so they will have the content that they need. Okay, so we solved that need. Once we had enough content library, we started marketing directly to families and parents. And when we did that back in 2017, 2018, we started generating significant revenue. I can share that we closed last year with around $6 million in revenue. Out of that, over about $300,000 was shared to educators for creating the content. And so today, teachers will still go and create content for their kids in the classroom, but they will also think about the audience outside the classroom. You download our app, you put a picture like this one, ask a question with your voice, create an area, and that becomes an answer. It's really cool, really simple, and today we are proud to have over 200,000 pieces of educational games. Out of them, 20,000 what we consider to be super quality content.
Absolutely, yeah, indeed, we were very lucky to be able to invest because now you're already profitable. So maybe, that was the last time you raised. But over to Sébastien, also obviously very happy and proud. And the same type of question, Sébastien. I think it's really fascinating, the mission that you're on.
It is like our initial vision, and I was thinking both like Yogev, we've been a long time in the space. The adventure of Sandbox started over 10 years ago, and we already initially had that idea, like we wanted to turn players into creators. So towards 2011, we launched first mobile game on iOS and Android where players could make pixelated worlds just by the touch of their finger and share those creations into an online gallery. It turned out quickly into a massive success thanks to user-generated content. Over 70 million creations were made, and we've even been exploring potential additional use cases beyond gaming, such as education. And back in 2014, actually, we crossed paths with Yogev at an accelerator program called Collab, hosted by Zynga.org, on how we could use our tool and provide education use cases behind. It didn't turn out into one key business case for us, but it reconforted us into the vision that giving power to creators and allowing them to build their content and use them the way they want was the way to go. So towards the end of 2017, our company was actually acquired by another company in Hong Kong called Animoca Brands, a bigger game studio that is one of the pioneers in blockchain technology. We were also exploring about, okay, we have this big success, 40 million downloads, 70 million creation made by users, but somehow all the success comes from the users made by the content made by the users, but we have no way to reward those users for their contribution due to the various limitations of platform, App Store, Google Play, Steam. We couldn't give back certain rev share or pay them for the content. So there's got to be a better solution. And when we saw CryptoKitties, one of the very first NFTs being born with CryptoPunks, those are like digital asset, virtual cat image that you could own into your own wallet and start using, collecting, and so on. We thought, this is fantastic. Let's apply this technology not just to make more virtual cats, but to actually enable anyone to make their content, own them, trade them, and develop a whole ecosystem of possibilities behind. That's how the new version of Sandbox came to life. Fast forward 3 years later, we are here. We have over 200,000 registered user accounts. We created a virtual world with 460, and half of which have been sold. In April alone, we generated more than $10 million worth of virtual land sale. And virtual land as an NFT are fantastic. They are enabling others to create their business, publishing experience, and accessing monetization on the platform. So we have an ecosystem of people who understand the value of owning a land, the business opportunity it creates behind, and once they own the land, decide to hire more artists, more creators, creating jobs to build the content on it. So starting to develop a whole ecosystem of actors around our platform and our tools. Beyond that, we've been supporting creators. So we have already over 150 creators who made 7,500 content on the marketplace, which they were able to sell to each other. The users in the P2P sale were able to keep 95% of the revenue straight for themselves, which is one of the highest rev share available across all the platform. And this is, again, just the beginning of something, since we are still in beta and haven't opened fully to the public yet, which will happen in a phase of rollout later this year.
Absolutely, fantastic. And it's interesting because we want to go to the next topic, which is talking about COVID and how COVID impacted your business. And again, we have been very lucky and thrilled to come on board as investors. And I remember 12 months back when we had to explain what NFTs are. We had a lot of people with a lot of big eyes and trying to understand the space. Obviously, the fact that Christie sold off an art piece of 69 million helped a little bit, and all the other crypto hype right now. So tell us a little bit, how has COVID been to you? How has this been arguably an enabler to your business?
I can start with this one. Definitely, the pandemic has been overall a positive effect for the video game industry in general, like engagement, the number of monthly active users, and the digital spend into games has largely increased for the past year and a half due to people looking for ways to take their mind outside of their home, look for new ways to socialize and interact with other users and find entertainment. As such, even the oldest virtual worlds like Second Life, which have been existing for 25 years, I've seen an increase of their user base again. The second key factor that COVID has accelerated is reducing the mental friction that we have, that we can actually have fun, we can actually engage with a 3D avatar within a virtual world, rather than only physically or at events and so on. So now that we've all gone through that, we can definitely project ourselves, being able to play, to work, to earn a revenue, to socialize, to learn into virtual worlds. And it's all going to open a whole digital economy behind for all the jobs that are being created, the different services, platform, apps, content that need to be produced to populate those virtual worlds.
Thank you so much. Yes, and the power of decentralization. You talked about Yat and Animoca. I loved his recent talk, which is decentralize or die. Yeah, anybody interested, reach out to us. Yogev, same to you. I remember, you had plans to expand. I mean, you were already online. Obviously, education went fully online around the world. So tell us a little bit again, how did the current or the past situation really accelerated your business growth?
Yeah, I'd love to. Let's go back to last year, March and April. I think we were in the opposite side of most of the people around me. So for us, it was the biggest idea that anyone could have thought to push our business up. So during April, basically all of our dashboard has been green. Every country on the planet purchased our product. It was like 5x our revenue in a single month. It was crazy. It was a lot of fun. But let's talk what happens afterwards. So what we've learned in that moment is that there is demand. Okay, there's demand because there is a big need, but it also opened people's head to alternative screen time than just watching videos, looking for something educational and active for their kids. That's number one. But what happened afterwards is that the need extended outside of the consumer. So we are in education, but we're selling directly to consumers. That is very unique. Sebastian talked about working in education. I think part of why it didn't work is basically talking to schools, working with all that system. It's a very heavy system to operate in. And what we've managed to do is to go directly to the consumer. But actually after COVID, the schools started reaching out. So we're schools private schools in Brazil, in Singapore, in India, that had the digitalization needs. Because they had to go online. They were pushed into the remote world and they needed content. And so now we actually have a new part of the business that we're working with schools, offering them the platform for digitizing their own content, like massive schools from the top. So that's one thing that happened, opened the new channel for us. And the second is that we as a company are growing, 60% of our growth is based on paid marketing. Let's talk about growth. It's always fun to come to this event and hear about the success, but how did you get it so I can replicate that? I can tell you a lot of it is basically cracking the funnel of how to use marketing to grow in a profitable way. But after April, the prices really went up globally because, you know, every burger stand had an online presence now. Everyone had to go online. And so we had to reinvent ourselves. And the way we did that is that we want organic. Okay, we wanted to find organic ways of growing. Not just because the prices went up, but also because, and this is maybe crossing a little bit with questions we'll have about Asia in the future, but when you go with marketing, a lot of the time you can't sell in different places because you don't have a marketing funnel. I can't sell in China because you can't use Facebook and Instagram tools. You need a different funnel. Hong Kong and Singapore are great. Other countries wouldn't work with the funnel we have. And so we chose to go with SEO. We looked at our company. We have a long tail content of 200,000 pieces of content. And we decided that we're going to invest time in that and exposure to our content. And we did just that starting this year. And we saw 10x in growth. So we went from 20K of monthly visits organically to 200,000 now every month. And it didn't just grow us organically, but it also expanded our reach. Before we were focused on 4 main languages, now we had all the world coming in different funnels, and we needed to build the right funnel for them. So sometimes for us it was a really good push in terms of how we are growing and opened a new business channel for us.
Brilliant, thank you. And just go a little bit deeper then, tell us a little bit about expansion. So you mentioned about language, about different cultural contexts. I mean, you're already available in, I think, over 30 different languages, the content, right? But then the expansion itself. Why Asia, why Hong Kong, and arguably also why South America, right? Because you have been recently very successful in South America.
Yeah, Brazil especially is being a very strong market for us. We also added some really strong investors that I'll be able to share soon that operate their education businesses. Let's talk about Asia for a second. The best way I can take everything I've learned about education in the West and in the East, the biggest difference is the approach. And I think that in the States, in the West, education is treated as in a reactive manner. So if something goes wrong, the kid needs a tutor. And in Asia, it's more of a prevention medicine. So you start very early on and you make sure you don't get into trouble later. So our product really resonates well with ages 2 to 8, and then in school it's 8 to 12, but 2 to 8 is where we actually sell to families. That's why I think Asia is a beautiful market for us, because parents appreciate the values that you bring at that age. And we have a vivid community and we have the content, but we still have a long way to go to build the right funnels and to package everything so they get the most value of that. Part of what we have going for us is that we have investors from Hong Kong, 3 investors, Angel Hub, Radiant Ventures, and Animoca Brands is also an investor in the company. And that helps us get a glimpse and a bridge and run experiments on that market. In fact, we had such partnership for Hong Kong with the Animoca back when they made their first investment. It was too early for us back then. We were schools focused and not consumer. And I'm sure we'll do much, much, much better as we're constantly optimizing our funnel. But the potential is huge. You just need to find the right go-to-market. Sometimes it's tougher than building a good product.
Thank you. And I'll swap it over back to Sebastian. So a little bit of your learnings. I mean, arguably the metaverse has no borders, right? But tell us a little bit about your international expansion and why Hong Kong, why Asia?
Well, the metaverse has no borders, and it's true. Even in our team, we have now grown to more than 100 employees. 48 of them are based in Argentina, where we have most of R&D, 15 in France for marketing, communication, game design, and level design. And Asia is really a major market and business development area for us, with Korea being our number 2 market after US, China and Japan featuring into the top 5 as well. So we have our largest community, our largest presence, creators presence in Korea specifically. And we've been putting a strong effort to expand our presence, business development. So with 5 team members now in Korea, 3 in Japan, 3 in China, who are here to reach out to creators without any borders, for them to use our tool and find ways to leverage all the possibility offered by having a game or an experience within a land into a metaverse, where you can interact more closely with your community, with your users through NFTs and through various gamification mechanics. Hong Kong, definitely, as Animoca brand is our parent company, and Angel Hub and W Hub are supporting and investors too. So Hong Kong is definitely a place, and we'll be announcing soon 2, probably 3 major partners from Hong Kong, both in the media and IP and entertainment industry, proving again that in our opinion, Asia has always been leading the way in both gaming, virtual world, and now in the space of NFTs and metaverses.
Absolutely, thank you. And I think, can you see any type of huge differences in terms of adoption on, blockchain from a user point of view, right? And again, yeah.
I think from the user point of view, there's already an ecosystem in place that supports the growth of application or virtual world like ours. First of all, it's just mainstream to play video game, and you see people not only playing video game, but watching videos of streams of video game everywhere, from the subway station or in the subway. They are all on their screen like this. It's just part socially accepted to do that. There's no rejection. People can see it and understand that you can actually earn revenue, make it a job through those activities. And it's quite natural now that you can do that into a virtual world. Whereas in Europe, I would say there's still more friction related to, is it really a job? Isn't it just entertainment? You don't see too many yet people, they haven't been doing that. The other thing that we are noticing is the ecosystem around blockchain is much more developed in countries like Hong Kong, Japan, China, or Korea. Just to name a few concrete examples, the number of local exchanges where you can exchange your fiat to crypto, the number of media that are covering the news, and all the ecosystem there of entrepreneurs, startups that are born locally and then grown worldwide is incomparable in terms of versus US or Europe. I think maybe 30 to 40% of the local population already owns crypto in those countries and do transaction once a month. Whereas, it's pretty tough yet to find similar adoption. And so that adoption of crypto started a better understanding of what is a non-fungible token, the fact that digital assets can be actually traded, can hold value, can have a utility and enable the new business behind like play to earn. You were referring to the Beeple and MetaPurse, who is the person who bought that $69 million unique art NFT. He's actually based in Singapore, and he has quite a story, a beautiful story, if you ask me, because he's an immigrant who worked really hard his way through, coming from another difficult country, India, and being able to achieve through his hard work, leveraging this new technology to rise into this new wealth class that is reinvesting directly into the ecosystem and supporting it through supporting the artists behind and so on. This is just a great example of something that unfortunately is yet to be seen in other parts of the world.
Fantastic, great. Well, I think unfortunately we're getting to the end. I get signs that we don't have a lot of time left, even though there are a couple of things that I would love to go deeper. Maybe we can have a follow-on session at one point in time. But so your last words of wisdom to everybody listening, a big tip on either expanding into Asia or just in general to bringing their startup to the next level. Yogif, what is your last word on this?
No, it's not last. It's for this session. I have a lot more words.
For this session, for sure.
I want to address what Sebastian is talking about this decentralization, because I want to say that basically the internet is about that. That's what the internet, the essence of that. So what they're doing with NFT is they're taking it to the next level. What we're doing, like what YouTube does and Wikipedia and a lot of website, is we're opening the world of creation of digital learning for everyone. Today, the projects that are getting funded are math, English, in the English language. So there's a lot of gaps. And we see this as an opportunity, not only to enlist the community to help us fill the gaps and so they can help their communities, but it's also a go-to-market strategy. So if you're talking about reaching to Asia, the fact that you can build a small community somewhere and you have that component of the community in your product can really help you scale in ways that you couldn't think about and ways that you can't do with traditional media and advertising. Again, Hong Kong and Singapore you can do. You can run Facebook, you can run Instagram. If you really want to get India, if you want to get China, anywhere else that isn't traditional, and you have a community on the ground, they will do the work for you. So I think there's a lot of power for it. And what NFTs and crypto is offering is just more incentives to get people working on that project. Thank you.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Leveraging the power of the community. Absolutely. Sebastian?
I would echo what Yogev just said. Essentially, like the power of community, just don't consider Asia as one. It's like so many different countries with culture. Every Korea, China, Japan, they're already so much different in how you can approach those markets. Some of them are very strict, they have more regulation and control over what thing you can do, the network you can use to leverage community. But the overall approach, I think, that worked well with us in the past is to have a partner on the ground and or to be yourself on the ground for quite some time until you're able to establish a recognizable, a reputable presence that people identify you as an actual partner into the local ecosystem. And from there, hire local, build local, and increase the local culture. Let them run the way that they want to run it and think would be best. Don't try to impose your Western manners on top of that. Japan is the toughest market to crack. We're still working on it. It takes the business speed in Japan is unfortunately incomparable. It could take you 1 year, 2 years, maybe more to establish the trust and do deals, specifically in the blockchain ecosystem space. Whereas Korea, Singapore, Hong Kong have proven to be very fast moving markets. You could have like business deal done within a week. So I would maybe also recommend to strategize where to approach first and choose an ecosystem where you can start having traction much faster. As a proof of concept before attacking everywhere else. And don't underestimate Southeast Asia, Philippines, Indonesia, Vietnam. We have strong community there, different type of profile, but also participating into our creator economy as part of the ecosystem, and hence definitely worth looking at.
Beautiful. So I think that sums it up very nicely. Leverage the power of the community, have great partners to soft land you in an ecosystem. And with that, arguably smaller ecosystems such as Hong Kong that are very dense and highly connected allow you to nail it, and then you can scale it into the rest of Asia. Fantastic. Obviously, I have to put a shameless plug here. We would be thrilled to help anyone to soft land here. So just reach out to myself, whub.io. or angelhub.io. Very much looking forward to welcoming anyone here in our fabulous ecosystem. I'll hand it back over, I guess, to Marta and the team.
Hi, Karina. Thank you. Thank you very much. That was amazing. Karina from WHub. You heard it. She's inviting everybody to come to Hong Kong. Thank you also, Sebastian and Yogev. All right, now is the final moment that we've all been waiting for, which is to announce the winner of these 5 amazing startups. Now, this time it was particularly difficult, but I've got with me here my partner in crime, Marta from South Summit, that is going to announce the winner of the last virtual South Summit. Marta.
Hi, Paris. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing, Marta?
So happy to join you, although today we are not together in the ballroom. I really miss you there, but I'll be back soon.
Good.
So before I announce the winner, I would just want to say thank you very much to all our friends in Asia. It was a great opportunity to have them to join us in this virtual South Summit, and congratulate all the startups that participated. They were all amazing. It was a tough job for all our jury to select the one who's going to be our finalist in South Summit. But I invite all of you, all our partners from Asia and all our startups to join us from the 5th to the 7th of October to South Summit, where we'll be together and we'll connect again physically and digitally. So please do not miss it. I hope to see you there in person. So now it's the moment of glory of the last startup that is going to be a finalist selected from this last virtual, which is coming from Hong Kong, and it's Ipification. Welcome to South Summit on October. Congratulations.
Thanks a lot, guys. It's really humbled and great pleasure to be the winner of this competition. So we're looking forward to seeing you in the final as well.
We'll see to find good investors and good friends, so you get to join us in Madrid.
Thank you, with great pleasure.
Okay, well, you heard it. We're back. It's post-COVID time, and in October, we're expecting you here in Madrid for our business as usual South Summit face-to-face. So with that, I want to thank the amazing list of jury members that we had today. I want to thank the amazing startups, and I want to thank everyone that's watching. As we come back better and stronger than ever, we look forward to seeing you in Madrid, and have a great afternoon, great morning, or a great lunch for all of you all over the world. So with that, thank you very much, and see you soon.
See you.